2021 has been full of a bunch of ups and downs, but I think there's a lot of things that are looking up for 2022. So I just wanted to take a real quick moment to kind of talk about the things that I'm personally looking forward to in 2022 and things that I think the FGC should really just keep an eye out for. I think the elephant in the room is really just the state of offline events and by extension, the state of the pandemic. So the thing that we've started to see towards the end of this year is that we're seeing more majors come back. CEO concluded not too long ago. We had Red Bull Kumite a couple months back as well. That went off without a hitch. So we're starting to get to the point where like major tournament organizers are starting to get back to running large scale events again. Pretty much every small local community that I've been keeping tabs on, both in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and some other states, they have started going back to running locals. So for the most part, the offline FGC has started to come back in a pretty big way, and I am kind of happy about that. But at the same time, I'm also extremely cautious because of the current state of the virus. This new variant that is out there, it's much more transmissible. It's super easy to get. There's also the fact that post CEO, there were reports of someone having tested positive for COVID, having attended that event. And after that happened, there were a couple people who have gotten tested, and in the process, it was not a good look. So personally, for me, I still encourage everyone in the FGC at large to continue to stay masked, even if you're vaccinated. Get your booster if you haven't already. Get your vaccine if you haven't. If you haven't gotten your vaccine, like, what are you doing? Don't go to locals, get your vaccine first. Bottom line, I'm okay with people going back and traveling to locals and traveling to majors. Support your locals, support your majors, support these events. We've been online for virtually like a year and a half. I can understand people itching and raring to go out and compete in person again, where fighting game competitive play is the most optimal, but make sure that you are keeping in mind not only your health, but also the health of those around you. Wear your mask, get vaccinated, get your booster, take all the necessary precautions. This new variant is scary, and I want the best for all of you. So stay safe. Stay safe. In the arcade stick space, there's a couple of things I'm really keeping an eye on as far as the future of arcade sticks in fighting game controllers in this coming year. There is the Panda controller, which recently got fully funded in like a couple hours. I did hear recently that due to some manufacturing issues going on in China, Panda took down their Kickstarter for the Panda controller just because they weren't certain with all the new stuff going on with manufacturing if they'll be able to deliver at the expected window that they were expected to deliver. So Panda took down the Kickstarter. They're gonna find external funding some other way for the Panda controller. I'm still fairly optimistic about the controller itself. I am really impressed with the feature set of the Panda controller, the amount of customization options that it has. I think it's a good thing for like the evolution of competitive Smash in general. So I'm looking forward to seeing where exactly the Panda controller goes here on out. As far as standard fighting game controllers goes, I'm keeping an eye on the ErgoBox. The ErgoBox is a really interesting controller and a really big contender for one of the best 3D printed arcade stick enclosures. A really nice form-fitting arcade stick controller that kind of fits in the palms of your hands. Think of it like the design of like an ergonomic mouse where it's kind of like vertical, but both of your hands just kind of like fits around these. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this. This went on sale again a couple weeks ago and sold out in 5 minutes, and that was an entire year's worth of stock. So I'm hoping that the ErgoBox crew takes note and decides to really ramp up the production of this if given the chance. If you've seen any photos or anything from CEO, then you might be familiar with a certain pad arcade stick hybrid known as the Vang. So this is the Vang Pro Pad. This was initially shown off at CEO not too long ago, and this has made like an understandable amount of waves. As you can see, traditional D-pad on the left, full arcade sticks on the right. It even has like a little bit of like a carrying strap. It's a fairly like reasonably sized controller. It's not like snack box thin because this uses traditional arcade stick buttons and not like an integrated PCB. There are a ton of Pad X arcade stick hybrid controllers out there, and not a lot of them look as aesthetically pleasing as this. So if for no other reason, I'm really looking forward to whenever we see more of this controller next year. And the last thing I think is worth addressing about the arcade stick space moving forward, because for the most part, arcade stick technology doesn't really have too many spikes in innovation, but occasionally we have spikes in drama, much like the more recent legal debates going on between Junk Food Customs and the team at Hitbox about a more recent design that Junk Food Customs has shown off that kind of replicates the Smashbox's design. So there's a big debate going on about if you can patent a button layout design and whatnot. I'm sure I'm going to have full discussions about that. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to check them out up here. I'm pretty sure I'll put like a card or something up here for that. As the news for that develops, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on it, and that's definitely something I would expect to hear about more so in like the later half of probably like the first or second quarter of 2022. I'm just gonna quickly blitz through some game specific things real quick. Guilty Gear's doing great. Guilty Gear's probably gonna continue to do great. I'm expecting a second season for the game just because it's sold so well and it's brought so many people into the scene that ArcSys Works is probably going to go all in with supporting the game a lot further. Probably going to continue to support it at Arc Revo, so it's going to be a really big boon for the competitive scene, and more DLC characters means more characters to try out, and Guilty Gear characters being as unique as they are mean that there are more characters that will appeal to the entire fighting game player base as a whole. So it's only good things going up for Guilty Gear Strive. Street Fighter V, we got our last DLC character. I don't expect any more DLC characters in the future. I think this next year for Capcom Pro Tour is probably going to be, if not the last, then probably the next to last Pro Tour for Street Fighter V. We'll probably get a announcement or reveal for Street Fighter 6 at the end of Capcom Pro Tour in 2022, so like December 2022. If you guys remember what happened with the Street Fighter V reveal at the end of Ultra's life cycle, I'm thinking kind of like the same thing. So we'll probably get a announcement / reveal trailer for Street Fighter 6 in probably sometime around like December 2022, January 2023, or whenever Capcom Pro Tour ends. And then we'll get another Pro Tour season after that, maybe, and then we'll move on with Street Fighter V for its final year, and then Street Fighter 6 will come out after, and then we move on with Street Fighter 6 for the Pro Tour. Those are my general predictions. Tekken doing its Tekken things. I really hope we get another 3D fighter. The discussion's been had, but there haven't been a lot of 3D fighting games that have come out that have really like made waves. The most recent one I would say would have to be the release of Virtua Fighter, but even still, that game not having rollback really kind of held it back in a lot of regards. So whether we get a new 3D fighter in the form of a Tekken, another Soul Calibur, which I would really be surprised about, if we get like an announcement for another 3D fighter around Evo or something, I'd really appreciate that, because my 3D fighting game homies have been struggling for the longest time, and they need to eat too. They need to eat too. As far as other games go, King of Fighters is coming out next year early on. Looking forward to playing that. DNF Duel is coming out towards the summer. I'm really planning to spend a lot of time with DNF Duel. I enjoy what I played during the beta, and despite how different it is from like a lot of other fighting games in general, I really want to try and like push and commit to DNF Duel. I feel like DNF Duel is going to fit a really interesting kind of niche in the fighting game space as far as tournaments go, because I think the game is simple enough to pick up and understand that it could be like the perfect side game for a major. Say you're going to like Evo or CEO and you're entering like King of Fighters 15, and then if you have some free time, you also enter DNF Duel. Or if you're entering in Street Fighter 5, try to get your CPT points, maybe you also enter in DNF Duel on the side. I feel like it's gonna fit in like a really nice space that we really haven't seen in a lot of ways since arguably Sam Show 2019. DNF Duel is going to fill in like that really nice niche for like a really simple, accessible side game to enter, and just to kind of help you like justify spending whatever money you would have to spend to travel out to events. And also sometime in 2022, we're going to be getting some sort of another announcement for Project L. It's not gonna be anything major. It's not gonna be a release date. It's probably just gonna be some more stuff talking about like how they're fleshing out the gameplay. We'll probably get a little bit more knowledge about what the mechanics are going to be, but other than that, it's not gonna be too much. They already said they're going dark. We're gonna get maybe like one announcement next year, and then we're gonna hear from them again in 2023. Whatever that one announcement is, I'm looking forward to it. I know the FTC Content Creation C is going to try and milk that dry for content and views and engagement as we try to jump on the League of Legends bandwagon, because hashtag FGC poverty, we need the money. Other than that, that's pretty much everything that I have to cover as far as things that I am looking forward to in the new year. Be sure to let me know what you guys are looking forward to. If you like this discussion, be sure to like this video, and also be sure to subscribe for more fighting game content. I'm looking forward to this new year of fighting games, and I'll be sure to cover everything else on this channel. So be sure to tune in for more of that stuff. Thank you guys for watching.